Hi CCC family, it's Dawn Marie with Custom Comfy Crochet. If you're brand new to crochet, like literally you've just learned how to hold a hook and use your yarn, make a chain, you know, this might still be difficult for you. I have a beginner video below you can check out. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notify me bell below so you can get notified of my future videos, and please like and share. Sharing helps more than anything, and I really appreciate it. So let's get into our materials. This is the scrubby yarn. You've seen it before, and I just added it to my basic acrylic yarn here. So the one I'm going to show you today, it is exactly the same as the scruffy ones. I'm just not going to use this with it because it might just make things a little bit harder, but that's the only difference for these, is I just added this with my acrylic yarn. So as I'm crocheting, I'm pulling this along using the exact same pattern. You're going to need a darning needle, you're going to need a pair of scissors, a 5mm hook for the dog. I'm also using safety eyes and a safety nose. I did use a little bit of stuffing for the inside of this nose piece here. You can just use yarn scraps. I did for some of this because it was just easier than pulling out my stuffing. I had a little bit of yarn, and so I just stuffed it in. And we're going to start with the circle of the puppy. So we're going to make a magic circle. We're going to be working in the round, but we're not going to be working with no slip stitches. So you don't necessarily need a stitch marker. If you're newer to crochet though, you might find it comfortable to use one, okay? So into the middle of our magic circle, we're going to put 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you're going to pull tight. Then you're going to slip stitch to your first single crochet to join. And you've got the pretty little circle. Then you're going to chain 1. You're going to go right back into where you just slip stitched, and you're going to put 2 single crochets. Then you're going to go into your next stitch and put 2 single crochets. And into your next 2 single crochets. So you need 12 single crochets all the way around with 2 single crochets in each stitch. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then you're going to again join to your first single crochet, pull through with a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 1, and we want to keep this circle, and I'm going to be doing a video soon on this, but you want to keep your circle round. You don't want it to have those octagon looks. So now we're going to start an increase with 2 single crochets in the beginning. So in our first stitch here, where we just slip stitched, I'm going to put 2 single crochets. In the next stitch, I'm going to put 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, I'm going to put 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, I'm going to put 2 single crochets. In the next stitch, I'm going to put 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, I'm going to put 1 single crochet. And in the next stitch, I'm going to put 2 single crochets. So that's what you're doing all the way around. Okay, and because we started off with 2 single crochets, you're going to end on 1. All right, that lets you know you did it right. And for this row, you should have 18. Then you're going to slip stitch into the top of your first single crochet, just like that. And now the last row we started with 2 single crochets, and now we're going to start with 1. So chain 1 into this first stitch here that we slip stitched into. You're going to put 1 single crochet. Into the next, you're going to put 1 single crochet, and into the next, you're going to put 1 single crochet. So that's 3. And then in the next stitch, you're going to put 2 single crochets. And then again, you're going to put 1 single crochet, and the next 1 single crochet, and the next 1 single crochet. And then in the next, you're going to put 2. So that's what you do all the way around. And then you're going to slip stitch to join to your first single crochet, And then you're going to chain 1. This time you're going to start with 2 single crochets. So right there where you slip stitched, put 2 single crochets. And then you're going to put 1 single crochet in your next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in the next one, you're going to put an increase. You're going to put 2 single crochets. And again, you're going to do 4 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you're going to put 2 in the next. So we're just going to do that all the way around. And because we started off with 2, we're going to end with 1. And then we're going to go right into our first stitch and join with a slip stitch. So you're going to keep doing this until you get 5 and 2. So that means you're going to start you're going to do 5 single crochets and an increase of 2. But if you keep going the way we're doing by alternating, starting with 1 and starting with 2, then on your last row for the 5, you're going to start with 1 single crochet. Okay, so I want you to keep doing that all the way around like I showed you till you get to 5 to 2, and then we'll meet back up again. So we should end with 36 stitches. As you can see, we've got a beautiful little circle here, just like this. And then we're going to make the other pieces for our puppy. Now if yours pokes out a little bit like this, looks like a disc, don't worry about it. Some will be flatter than others depending upon how you crochet. If you crochet really tight, what kind of yarn you're using. But we're going to sew that on, so it's going to flatten out anyway, and it'll be fine. Okay, so now we're going to start with the muzzle for the dog, and we're going to start with a magic circle. We're going to do just like we did for the actual face. It's just going to be a little bit smaller. So start out with a magic circle, and then you're going to put 6 single crochets into the magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you're going to pull tight. You're going to slip stitch to your first single crochet. Okay, then you're going to chain 1, and you're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch. 2 for a total count of 12. So 2 single crochets in each stitch. If you ever miss a stitch and you go back and you count and it's not right, just add 1 at the end or take 1 away if you need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then you're going to slip stitch to your first single crochet to close. Then you're going to chain 1. You're going to go into the place where you just slip stitch. You're going to put 1 single crochet, go into the next, put 2 single crochets, go into the next, 1 single crochet, then go into the next and 2 single crochets. You're going to do that all the way around. And then after that row, you're going to do 1 more row of increase. You're going to start out with 2 single crochets and then do 2 single crochet increase in your first, and then you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 in the next 2 stitches, and you're going to keep doing that all the way around after that. Okay, so I'll see you back when you get done with that round. Okay, so we finished our next round here. So we started off with 6, then we had 12, then we have 18, and then we have 24. So we're going to end by slip stitching into our first stitch here, our first single crochet, and then we're all done with the muzzle. Again, you want to cut off, leaving enough to sew this on. To make the ears, you're going to make a slip knot, and then you're going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then you're going to single crochet going all the way down. So into the second stitch from the hook, you're going to put 1 single crochet. And into the next, there's 2. To the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So after your 10 single crochets, you're going to have 1 stitch left, and in this last stitch you're going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you're going to pull tight because those 6 single crochets are going to make that last stitch really big, and then we're going to work over this piece right here as we go, and then we're going to put a single crochet in each one of these stitches. They can be hard to find, so I'm going to show you real quick. So here's a stitch, 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 here's a stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to do 10 single crochets going all the way back up into each stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And this last one can be hard to find. Just work your hook in there. Now, if for some reason you don't end up with enough stitches, because those can be really hard to find, just add 1 to the end. You just need 10 to go across, okay? And if you end up with too many, then you need to go back and try again and make sure you didn't work too many in there, okay? Now we're going to chain 1, we're going to turn our work. We can go ahead and cut off this piece that we've worked in as we went along. And when we chain 1 and turn our work, we're going to be working single crochets going back down. So 1 single crochet in each stitch, 1, 2, 3, and you need 11, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And now you're going to work 2 single crochets in each of your next 5 stitches. So go into the next one and work 2, 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 and then go into the next one and work 2 single crochets. Okay? And then we should have 10 across. 1 single crochet in each of your next 10 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then our last one would be 10. And then we're going to cut off, leaving enough to sew these on, these ears. And of course you need 2 of these, so I want you to make another one exactly like this one, and then you'll just pull through to close, right? And then the way this is going to go on is it's going to go like this and just flip forward, just like that. Okay? And I'll show you how to put them on in just a minute, but first we're going to do our other ear, and I'll meet you back in just a second. Okay, so we have our face, we have our muzzle, and we have our ears. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and pull out our eyes and our nose. So we're going to go ahead and get the nose on here. So I'm just simply going to go right through the middle of this and put my nose. And this is a pretty big nose, so it's a little bit difficult to push through. It's just, it's an actual dog nose. It's got even the little indentations on it that I got from the Amazon thing. So then I've got that pushed through, And then I'm going to put my back on. But I'm just going to go through very end here, make sure I've got a piece hanging in the back, and then I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to try to make sure that it's lined up and it's not crooked, just like this, and pull that through. And then I'm just going to knot it off like I said in the back, and it'll just fit on the inside there. So it's just below the middle of this, okay? So it's not centered perfectly. I want it all the way at the bottom almost. So I just went through like this, my work, and then I'm going to come back and go through and come back and go through, just going into each space. And as you can see, this variegated yarn, it has subtle differences in color, so it looks really cool, almost like shadows. Again, I will try to put that in the description box below. If you have a hard time making sure that things are centered, I would suggest using some stick pins. As you can see, I needed one for mine. I'm just going to take about a handful of it. It's just what was closest to me. And like I said, you don't need a lot of stuffing. And I'm just going to stuff that in here. Just remember to try to use a lighter color with lighter colors, so that, you know, if you used a dark color, it would poke out, you know. And so then you would just keep sewing after you got everything back in there. And if you do not want to use yarn, you can definitely use stuffing. Like I said, I used it for some of mine. Okay. And then what you can do, if it's too far, you can puff it out like this using the end of your darning needle. You can use your fingers, get it to poke out, and there you go. You've got the muzzle for the dog. And in the back, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, and then I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to go ahead and knot them together. This is going to be on the back of your granny square, so it's okay for these to be knotted, but if you're not comfortable with that, you can work them in. Now we're going to put on our ears, and after we put on our ears, we'll put on our eyes, because the ears help you determine where the eyes go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this onto my darning needle. It's already kind of like it should be. It's already curling that way. So right here where we had this, I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3. So right here at the third one, I'm sorry, I'm going to count over 2. 1, 2. And right here at this third one is where I'm going to line this up, okay? And we're going to take up 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, all right? And then I'm going to start working in the back here and going through to the front. And these 4 stitches. Okay, just like that. And then this is going to lay like this. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go turn this over, holding this exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to, and then this piece right here, sticking up from where, so I'm just going to pull a little tighter. So I'm going to work my way down to where I want this. So I'm going to go through all of these little places here until I get down to where I need to work through, and then you can pull it back out again. And then I'm going to go right through the front here and right out the other side. Okay, then I'm going to do that one more time. Just make sure it's secured. And then we have the ear there exactly where we want it to be. And I'm going to put my darning needle on. And then I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3. And into this space right here, into this fourth, the second place. So we did 1, 2 from here, 1, 2 from here, okay? And then I'm going to go right through in those 4 spaces, just like we did on the other side. So I'm just pulling through and going back. Just like this. Then I might catch that last loop and pull it through. And then just like we did on the other side, I'm going to hold this down right about here. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to work my way down to the side of that. So where I like to put the eyes is right where the sides of the ears are. So pointing right from here down. So 1, 2, and that second row down is where I'm going to put this first eye. And then counting down from here, 1 and 2. This is where I'm going to put my second eye. Just like this. And that's how I get them. And then I'm going to put the backs on. And now we have a completed little puppy dog, and I'll see you again soon for another fun project. Happy crocheting. Bye-bye.